Hi everyone. So in the last video we talked about labels and inputs and we started building out our form to actually see it now. And so in this video we will wrap up building this form and talk about some more elements and how to actually submit this form. And so let's take a look at that. So again, just as a quick review, we have just a form tag. Inside of it, we have our label tag and our input. The for attribute of label points to this input. And so we can make another label input set. And sometimes what you'll do is, just to make it kind of more divisible, you'll sometimes put these in a div that kind of groups together this label input set. So that makes it a little nicer. And so let's make this one for email. And so we'll change this ID for email. And there's actually an email type, which gives you a little bit of built-in validation, so it's nice to have. So if we refresh the page, let's change this to email. There we go, perfect. Now our form has a name and an email, and because we put them in div tags, they kind of stack on top of each other. So that's all great, and you can build out a form to be as long or as short as you need. As short as Google's, which is just a search, one input for the search term you're typing into, for as long as signing up for a bank account online or something like that. But whatever amount of inputs you have, eventually you'll have enough, and then you'll need some way to submit the form. And so a lot of you are used to clicking on a button to submit a form, and so we can use a button tag. That's now the standard for submitting a form. And so button tag is just going to obviously put a little button on the page. So a couple things about the button tag is that the button tag also has a type attribute, just like the input field. And so there are a few, and you can see VS Code being helpful here, there are a few certain button types, and the one that we're going to want is submit. And that says that, hey, whatever form I'm inside of, I referring to this button, whatever form this button is inside of, whatever form I'm inside of, I want to submit. So this button is inside of this form. Again, the button's inside of the form, just like all these other elements are inside of the form. The form forms the wrapper of our HTML form. Whatever form I'm inside of, that's the form I'm submitting. If you build this and put it outside the form, it's not going to work. It doesn't have magic powers knowing which form to submit. You can't put like a label to say which form to submit. You just put the button inside of the form. You put all the inputs inside the form. And when you do that, that's going to give you that submission. And you'll notice that it redirected to welcome.php, which doesn't exist. So let's leave the action attribute off for now. And when I get to PyXCloud, we'll actually see a proper submission. And so if you don't have action, what happens is the form just submits to itself. So this page, you'll notice it did like a quick refresh and a little question mark pops up. That indicates that the form submitted, but obviously there's not a lot of usefulness in that. We didn't type in anything, we didn't really get anything. And so in the next video, we'll talk about actually getting the information from the form. So I will see you in the next video.